G'day everybody, I'm Scott Lawrence, clinical hypnotherapist and business coach, and welcome to my friends at Bounce Hub that have come along, some that I've met, some that I haven't yet, and I'm making this short little video at this beautiful location here today, mainly just to issue a little bit of a challenge to you guys. And the challenge is, no, not to make a video, relax, put down your cameras, it's okay. I'm doing a video to talk to you guys. The challenge is, it's about your business. And you might be brand new where maybe you've just started your business and you want some guidance, or you're excited about where to go, but you're not exactly sure where to go. Perhaps you're a little bit afraid about the momentum. Like if I said, do you want to do this big giant course, or do you want to basically plan for $1 million business? You can go, oh, that kind of scares me a little, and I understand because I was the same. Or let's say that you've been in business between 1 to 5 years, and let's say that you're doing really well, but you've created this monster that's sucking up all of your time, all of your energy. Now there's some resentment, there's that little bit of evil in the business when you go, I hate my life, I hate this business, what's this monster that I've created for myself? So if you can relate to whether you're new, looking for a pathway, looking for some confidence, or if you're already established and now you're wondering, how do I escape? Where's my exit plan? Or where's my ascension plan to actually bring back the lifestyle? This is the challenge. At Bounce Hub, until now, we've been doing this beautiful technique, which I believe is better than any other network group that I've been to. And what this is that we get to know each other at a very, very deep level. You come back and we get to know each other so well, because what usually happens at these network events is you come in and you say, I'm a butcher, I'm a baker, and I'm a candlestick maker, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a somebody, here's my card, buy my stuff, please. But at Bounce Hub, we do something so much better. We get to know each other at this personal level where we build friendships, where it's not just buy my stuff, it's, can I just cry on your shoulder? Can I lean on your shoulder? Or can you give me some advice in my business? Or can you refer other clients to me? Or we get to know each other so well that when I do want you to refer people to me, and I want to refer people to you, at Bounce Hub we get so into these relationships with each other just through these short exercises that we find that we know so much more about each other than what a lot of other groups do, which I think is an amazing benefit. To go above that, we need to stop living at just that level that got us here and start living at the next level that will get us there. If you want 2015 to be your breakthrough year, what you're going to have to do is make 2015 your breakthrough year through goals. If you don't have a goal, well, what are you doing? But if you don't have a goal, if you're just sort of turning up and you're loving it like I'm loving it, this is the challenge that I'm issuing to you. Come up with your goals, post them in the Facebook group here, and then I want you to tell us basically what accountability steps will you do this month. Then at the next Bounce Hub, come back, because we're going to assign you an accountability buddy, and you're going to tell the group what's going to happen. You're going to tell the group what your steps were that you promised, what your promise was from last month, and then you're going to tell them, did you do it? Either you did it, where we're all going to give you a pat in the back, or you didn't do it, in which case you need to talk to the group. You need to coach each other. You need to get in this room. You need to talk to each other more often. Do you want to make 2015 your breakthrough year, or are you going to say 2016 is going to be my breakthrough year and I'll just waste the next 9 months? And so what could happen is you could end up going to 2017 going 2018 is going to be my breakthrough year, but it won't unless you use this time that we have today. So here's the format, just to make it a little bit easy. I've got this acronym called LISTEN, and I find it really helpful to me when I'm going to tell you my goals. You guys can keep me accountable. Now I can make a promise to you that you guys can ask me when I turn up to Bounce next week, did I do my steps? So listen, what it stands for. The L stands for life story. This is where basically I want you to tell me a little bit about who you are and where you came from. I'm going to do mine in a second. The I stands for interests. You know, at Bounce Hub, where we talk a little bit about what are you into, besides just I'm a butcher, baker, candlestick maker, it's that, no, like what are you into? Where are you from? Where did you grow up? What got you interested in business? What are your goals for this year? The S, L-I-S, stands for success or strategies that you've used. How have you won so far? What got you to where you are today? Now, that doesn't mean that you're a millionaire in business. It could mean that you're successful today because you made a move and you decided to study something, and when you did, you learned an amazing set of skills that maybe you haven't applied to monetize those yet. Maybe you haven't built an income. That's fine. Or maybe you have built an income and maybe you've got an amazing set of successes to tell us to say, I've built this $10 million business, which is also, you reckon, beneficial to the group? I think so. So L-I-S-T, timeline is very important. The timeline is what keeps us accountable. If you just say in the future, I want a big business, the stats basically show us that dreams don't happen, but dreams written down become goals. They happen. Write your goals down, not just in a diary, but on a calendar. Break it down into smaller pieces. If you're having trouble with this stuff, if you are saying, I want to make some big, giant business step, and it's overwhelming you, it means you haven't broken your time down into small enough manageable pieces. If you're not really feeling anything about your business, you could be living so comfortably that you're just not feeling anything about your business anymore, which could mean that you haven't made a big enough leap. There's a story about this bridge, where imagine you've got this bridge, you've got to jump from one side to the other. If there's no bridge, there's two cliffs, two sides of the cliff. There's supposed to be a bridge, but there isn't. You jump from one side to the other. If it's too far apart, you're going to fall straight down the middle. Now, if it's too close together, there's no point in jumping. So the idea is you want your cliffs to be as far apart as possible, but you want little tiny bridge steps in between so that you can actually get there, versus we don't want you to fall to your death. We don't want that. And we don't want you to turn up to go, nah, game over because like I jumped a millimeter. It's just not interesting enough. Now the E, so L-I-S-T-E, E stands for ethics. This is an important part for you to communicate in your goal. Because for me, I believe that I stand for serving people. If you know this about me, I'm very socially driven. The only reason I will do something, and this is for me a very interesting part about how I make progress, not just my timeline, but what drives me ethically, or what I find to be a value, which may not be a value for someone else, I feel that I need people around me. I can be an extrovert. I can write as well as that introspective introvert, but I need people around me. My values are, if I have a friend, I want that friend to contact me regularly, whereas someone else doesn't really care. They'll be like, oh, you haven't called me in 2 years. We're still best friends. We'll just pick up where we left off. I find that, in my particular case, someone else might not have an ethical issue with it, but I feel something that I know that I'm socially driven in my business. So for me, that's what I stand for. I stand for service, and I stand for that social side of the service. That's why I serve people, because I get to see them. If I served people that I never got to meet ever, like say, the webinars might be great, but at some point, I want to bring people to a seminar. That's where I get to meet and touch people, or I get to shake hands, or I get to sign autographs, whatever, if that kind of makes sense. Then the N in listen stands for name. Name is not just, hi, what's your name, shake hands, I'm Scott. Name is more about what's called an egoic label, or the label of your ego. Remember that butcher, baker, candlestick maker? They are names. They are egoic labels. What happens in these egoic labels, you could call yourself a coach, you could call yourself an entrepreneur, you could call yourself, I learned how to pronounce this today. No, I didn't. Mumpreneur, which is a mum that's an entrepreneur. So that's an egoic label. If someone calls themselves that, what could that mean about them? What could you be learning about that person? If somebody calls themselves a philanthropist, or if somebody calls themselves intelligent, or if somebody calls themselves loving, if somebody calls themselves sociable, that means that that's their egoic label. That's their beliefs about themselves. That tells you more about their ethics as well. It tells you more about their values. Now, for me to do the LISTEN acronym with you guys, my life story, basically, in 2008 and 9, I studied hypnotherapy, and not long after, I basically did $10,000 in one seminar with one ad. Yes, the room was a bit small, so we had to split it over 2 nights, but it was 2 hours a night, so that's 4 hours for $10,000. And I did this basically through reading some business books. I learned how to write a better ad. Whereas a lot of the other people that I was working with, that they would not attract $10,000, they'd attract something like $300 sometimes per night, whereas that I was doing a lot more than that. My interests, I've always been into psychology. I've always wanted to know what makes people think, what makes people tick. And to me, that's, if you're into the environment, I feel that the environment is a psychology issue, because if we don't feel something about it, we're not going to do something about it. I feel that money is a psychology issue, because you don't feel something about money, you're not going to exchange it. I feel that science is a psychology issue, because if you don't think about something in a scientific process, you're not going to come up with a scientific answer. I feel that spirituality is a psychological thing as well, because if you don't think about spirituality in a certain way, you're not going to have your own personal experience. So whatever it is that you believe is fine, my successes have really been about that in my first 6 months, I was seeing 40 clients a week in my clinic, my hypnotherapy clinic. I was on the Hamish and Andy show in my first year. And to me, I felt that even though I know that I did the work and everything, it wasn't really owed to me that I had that success. I was very lucky. You know when I said that I was socially driven? This is part of my success, is that my socially driven attitude helped me get the right advice from the right people. I met people when I needed to meet those people, and it just came together in some kind of a way where I'm like, where are these people coming from? Where are all these people coming from? But they came and taught me about Google. They taught me about how to build a clinic. They taught me about how to write an ad. They taught me about the internet. They taught me about seminars. They taught me about how to do webinars. They taught me how to talk to a camera a little bit, as hopefully I'm doing okay. Then after that, what letter am I up to? So ST, my timeline, I have a goal. If you haven't heard my goal is to make $1 million this year using webinars to teach student hypnotherapists how to start their businesses. So there are many places that they're already teaching these students how to run their sessions. But just like me, I thought there was like a pot of gold at the end of that course, that 2-year course. I've just spent 20 grand on this course or so. And now where's my customers? And it was my second education of how do you market yourself that really did it for me. So my successes were really to do, or my timeline goal was really to do with this year. My goal is, and this is my promise, when I talk to you guys as my accountability buddies, what I want to have happen is I'm going to tell you what my steps are. I know that I have 2 blockages preventing me somewhat, and I'm busting through those blockages as I go, so it's not a sad story, but I know that I have these 2 blockages. One thing is about my promotional partners. I need to have more meetings with my promotional partners, otherwise I do not understand their calendars. I'm going, here you go promote for me. They didn't promote for me that day. Why? Because I haven't talked to them enough. So that's, if you want to be my accountability buddy, come and ask me, have you picked up the phone? Have you called your promotional partners? Have you had a meeting? Because that's holding me back, and that's where you can help me. Another one is in building this course. I keep looking at things in such a big way. I'm looking at communication skills, at visual skills. I'm looking at the whole course that I'm building. I'm looking at promotional partners. I'm looking at such a giant monster going, $1 billion goal, that it makes me paralyzed, which is it's a stepping stone that I have to keep getting past. And this is where I want your help to ask me, have I set small enough goals that I can bust through that little one, busted through that little one, busted through that little one? Have you done your sound edit today? Well, I did 5 minutes before lunch and I did another 5 minutes. Good, good. 5 minutes is good. Did you do 10 minutes after lunch? Yes. And then by the end of it, I've finished my sound editing. Have you done 20 slides? Have you done 50 slides today? That's enough, just 50 slides. Don't do 1,000 slides today because you're not going to get it done. So my 2 issues, my 2 barriers, have I had phone calls with my promotional partners, and have I been looking at things too big on a day-to-day basis? Not on my life goal. Never say you're looking too big on your life goal, but you're looking too big on your day-to-day steps, if that makes sense to you guys. So what letter am I up to now? T-E. My ethics, as I was saying, I'm socially driven. I need to connect with people, and that's what really does it for me. And my name, I'm calling myself a hypnotherapist. I'm calling myself a business coach. But I'm also calling myself a friend with you guys, and that's why I want you to come to Bounce and be my accountability partner, because again, that is my name, that's my GOEC label for you guys. I'm your accountability buddy, and you're my accountability buddy as well. And so there's a last story I'd like to finish off before I challenge you really to this goal, that have a goal for 2015. Have you heard about, there was this, I don't exactly know how it goes, but there was this guy with a helicopter, and he had a pilot, he was the pilot, and he had a passenger, I guess, and they got trapped in the snow. And this guy, the helicopter would fly, but if he flies in the snow, he's going to hit a mountain and kill them both. So what he does is that he leaves his passenger, who's unconscious and sick and needs a hospital, leaves his passenger right there in the helicopter, and he walks 100 meters in the snow to make sure there's no mountain. Then he goes back, he walks again in the snow, risking his life, and then he flies that helicopter 100 meters forward. Then what he does, he gets out again and walks in the snow again, another 100 meters. And then he finds out that there's no mountain there for him to crash into. Then he comes back, and then he basically then flies the helicopter again. He does that all the way home. Now, the reason I bring up this story is, are we doing that for each other? Because we need to be the scout sometimes for each other. Once in a while, no matter what area you're in. Are you into health? Are you into saving people time? Are you into systemizing and automating what you've got right now? Are you into getting people over procrastination, getting yourself over procrastination? Are you into coming up with a better marketing message, or just a greater strategy in general? Or do you need like a financial plan perhaps to make sure that you're not just broke at a higher level where you're earning this big income, but you're still having trouble at restaurants paying the bill. So the idea of that story, are we being that scout that'll hop out of the helicopter and go, look, I don't know, I can't see anything. I'm just hoping this is a straight line. I'm going to walk in this straight line, hopefully, and then come back to the helicopter. This is my challenge to you guys. Come up with your goal, come to Bounce Hub, and be my accountability buddy. So I'm Scott Lawrence, and I hope this serves you. Until next time, come along and I'll see you at the events.